Hey 520, welcome to the course. I am very excited to be a part of your learning journey for this class. This is EDUT 520. My name is Joseph Clark. I'll be your instructor for this term. I want to spend a few minutes on this welcome video to go through some things and go through how I like to do things. And so I like to start each week with a quote and then a little thought about that quote. So for the welcome, I love this one. We are all just a small adjustment away from making our lives work. And that's George from How Do You Know? And I really love the idea of how little adjustments can make big differences. So if you were flying from San Francisco to Washington, D.C., and your plane was off just by 1 degree, you would be in Baltimore. So that's something tangible. That's, 40 miles away or so. And so you made a small adjustment in your life of going to school and learning about it. And I'm just really excited to be a part of that. So this, like I said, this video is going to be a little bit longer in that I'm going to go through some of the assignments and go through just pieces that I think are important for you guys as you are really early on in your journey here at Concordia. So I will be calling you the first week of classes, which starts on the 14th. Please don't submit anything before the 14th because it won't count. You can always text me and I try to get back to you very quickly. So you have 7 major assignments: your philosophy statement, your graphic organizer, a group presentation, your essential question, your backward design and unit assessment plan all kind of tie together. And then there's a library orientation where you actually have to be part of a live kind of orientation session online for that. And so that's the welcome. I'm going to be bouncing around some. Real quick, first, meet your instructor. A little bit about me. You can always call me or text. Try not to call after 9 p.m. Just because I do have a 6th and an 8th grader, and we try to get them to bed and all that kind of good stuff. But you can always text me. You can shoot me an email. I am a tweeter and a Voxer, so you can reach out there. If watching this video you can't wait to find out more and listen to me, you can watch this video here that is a year or 2 old, but it just talks a little bit about me. So on the About Your Instructor, Meet Your Instructor page, if you need to find out more about me, you definitely can. We have one text really for this course, and that's Curriculum by Ornstein and Hunkins. It's a hefty, dense book. I'm not going to lie. There is a lot of good information in that book, but it is dense. And then they always recommend you having your APA guide, which I know a lot of people get that online. You can also navigate. I'm going to scroll up here. When you click on syllabus and textbooks, you can navigate to the master syllabus. I highly recommend you go through the syllabus so you know everything that's in there. Your materials, all the weeks are kind of laid out in there if you need to look through there, and everything is hyperlinked as well, so you can bounce through there very closely. The 2 real key points that aren't about the curriculum that's going on there is turning in late work. Late work is not accepted. It really has to be a really good reason that it's going to be late, and then at best I think you can get 80%. That information is in here, so know that late work really is not accepted, and there's not regrades, meaning once you turn something in, that's pretty much it. It's not like undergrad where sometimes you can turn stuff in and get feedback and then fix it and go back and forth. So those are and you can find a lot of the course policies by following this link right here. I'm going to go ahead and close it. And so this is where you can really, plagiarism is a big one to read. So you want to make sure you read that. And then as I scroll through here, there's a lot of links to ways you can get help, the late assignment and things of that nature. So make sure, if you haven't yet, get familiar with that. All the weeks are going to look very similar. Topics, learning outcomes. My weekly videos will be in the announcements as well as right here. Any reading or videos you need to watch. Week 1, these are 2 really good videos. Sir Ken Robinson's pretty dang awesome. Your little short message. I'll try to go over that from week to week because it's just a good reminder to center ourselves. Your discussion boards, your assignment for that week. And so every week is going to look very similar to that. If you need to look at all your assignments, the due dates are right here. Everything is due at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. So if you see the date, that's usually Sunday, except for week 8 is Friday. But it's 11:59 Pacific time is when those are due. If you want to get information on it, you just click here and it's going to pop up and give you that information as soon as it loads. So really look at the rubric and follow the rubric and you'll be fine. I'll talk about specific assignments every week. But as I scroll down, this is what my week 1, I already did my week 1 announcement for you. I'm not going to go over that right now, but just so you can see, I give you the content there. I also give you discussion board questions, assignments, and due dates for the week and what's coming up ahead. So that's kind of how every week you can find that in the syllabus and you can find it in the weekly announcements. I'm going to scroll all the way bottom to the announcements and kind of work my way up. And these are a few things that I like to bring attention to that I think is helpful. I do like to make a Google Doc for each one of my classes. I know you can find the assignments and the links and the due dates in week 1, week 2, whatever week you're in. You can also find it in the announcements. I'll put them there. You can find it on the syllabus. But for me as a student, I would have loved this. And so I try to do those things that would have helped me. This is all your assignments and all your discussion questions and the due dates all in one doc. So I just embedded this Google Doc for you. And so if you don't know and you don't feel like going from week to week, you can scroll all the way bottom of the announcements and you can find them right here. So that's something just to keep in mind. This next post, it kind of looks like a lot, and it a little bit is. I'm going to go through and explain each of these a little bit for you. These are tips and trick tutorials that I kind of created that I find I'm getting the same kind of challenges on assignments. And so let me walk through a couple of these for you. One quick thing is using Google Docs and headers. In Google Docs, using headers and outlines can be really, really helpful to organize your papers and navigate them. And so you don't have to do that for me specifically. I know I use this every day at my site. And so it's a really helpful way to just organize some things and bounce around. So it's a quick video about that. So Google Doc share settings, I'm going to say this is really a must watch when you are sharing Google Docs with me or with fellow students. You have to really look at the link share settings. You can't just share, you can't leave sharing off, and you can't share within the domain because students are in a different domain than the instructors at Concordia. So it's about a 4-minute video, but it really does tell you how to make sure you share things appropriately. So make sure you watch that one. Submitting assignments, this is another one. So, we are a Google institution, Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets. I highly recommend using Google for your whole program, creating a folder for each class, really being organized, as well as most school districts are Google districts. So that's going to be really helpful for you to understand. But at the same time, you have to submit an actual artifact. So the easiest way to do that is to download it as a PDF and then upload it into the turn-in box on the assignment. So this video will walk you through all that. Once again, you can always, in the comments side when you submit, you can always submit the link to this as long as your share settings are correct. But there needs to be an actual tangible artifact uploaded into the submission box as well. There's a couple reasons for that. We need your artifact to prove that you did it, not just a link, but we can make comments right on that artifact using the submission box. So I can put comments on the rubric for your assignment, but I can also put them specifically right on the document within that submission setting. So that's really important. As you watch the Google sharing and the submit assignments, if you have questions, reach out to me. I find that those issues pop up on usually 3 out of the 7 or 8 assignments every course. And so, if you're sharing something at 11:59 p.m. and I can't access it, it's late. And so we want to make sure we know how to do that. There are tons of resources for writing. And I'll scroll up and show you the library and all that kind of good stuff in a minute. But if you're not using Grammarly for every paper that you submit, you're making it harder on yourself. So you can submit your papers to Grammarly. Every Concordia student gets premium for free. It will show you not only spelling errors and how much of your paper seems plagiarized or short-sighted, but it'll tell you what words you use most frequently, if there's starting the sentences with the same word over and over. There's actually a new one they Grammarly just upgraded, and it tells you about tone, personal pronouns. It does so much. Every paper that a student submits to me, I do run through Grammarly because it does such a good job of showing editing errors. So definitely watch that. And I would say through your whole program, if you're submitting your papers to Grammarly and then making those changes that Grammarly suggests, you're going to be way ahead of the game. So those are some videos that I hope help you. They're not meant to overwhelm you. You can watch them directly in here, and then as we get further into the class, I'll show you that there's I put everything on YouTube channels with playlists, so it's really easy for you guys to access. The library orientation assignment, I'm not going to talk too much about it. I always put this on early for this class. I think this is my third or fourth time teaching this course. It's something that you actually have to do in live time. I don't have a date yet, but as soon as I get that date, I'll make sure that we all know that it's coming up. And so those are kind of the quick hits on what is going to be important for this class. In a second, I'm going to jump back into assignments just to talk through a couple of those. But know that your writing studio is such an amazing resource. You can actually do live chat. You can submit your paper and have a writing a tutor that's actually physically on campus in Irvine read your paper and give you feedback. So there's lots of library resources, and actually that's what the library orientation is about, is learning about those resources so you can use them throughout your entire program here. We have one group assignment, which I'll talk about more in week one. Just know that there's a collaborative presentation coming up. So real quick, I want to go through the assignments quickly and just kind of talk about them for a minute. And then I hope you guys, hopefully you find this informative and not too long. But your first assignment is a philosophy statement talking about your philosophy on curriculum. You can read the rubric, but the one thing I would say is it has a page restriction. I believe it's 2 pages. Don't go over. This is one of those assignments that you cannot go over. It needs to be edited succinctly, and so you will actually lose points going over that. The graphic organizer is pretty self-explanatory. Week 2, I will definitely go over that. At the start of week 2, I will go over that. Your essential questions leads into your backward design unit, and it's those questions that you want to get answered through that. Think backwards planning kind of feel. The library orientation, there is some tasks you have to do after attending that to prove that you attended it. And these two are based off the same questions from assignment 4. You have to design an entire unit with also some assessments, and not a specific assessment, which that's actually what you get into in unit assessment plan, where you have to design the very specifics. But here would be like, a formative quiz in a project as a summative, and then in the unit plan assessment assignment 7, you would actually do more of the physical, like here's what that project looks like. So that's a real quick overview. Once again, if you need to get a hold of me, all you need to do is you can send a text anytime, 24 hours a day. Text is fine. I usually answer pretty quickly. Email, Twitter, or Voxer. And like I said, I'm really excited to be a part of your learning journey here at Concordia. My job is really to help you. I'm just scrolling up to the welcome there, to help you be successful and kind of walk you through this. If you need anything, please reach out, because I just really want to see you be successful and to be impactful in what you learn, take, and use back in your own classes and your own settings. Everyone have a great weekend and have a great 8 weeks coming up. I look so forward to learning